Welcome to EduRev.
Hello and welcome to EduRev. My name is Harshmeet Sir. In this lecture, we will be discussing an extremely important topic from Indian polity, that is the preamble to the Indian Constitution. I have given 2 IAS interviews in the past, and over the past 5 years, I have mentored over 20,000 students in their journey towards the civil services. Out of these, more than 20 students have successfully achieved under 300 ranks in the civil services examination. Let's not delay any further. Let's begin with the story of the preamble. Now, almost all of you would have seen the preamble of the Constitution at least once. एक बार तो देखा ही होगा. When you read the NCERT books, it's usually given on the very first page of the NCERT book, and this is what it looks like. Now, the idea of the preamble, it's a very unique idea. It has been taken from the Constitution of the US. So United States of America, USA के Constitution में सबसे पहले preamble था, and then many countries across the world, while making their own constitution, they took the idea of the preamble. Now, also remember the fact कि USA का जो Constitution था, it was the world's first written constitution which is continuing even today. And that is why it's very obvious that most of the ideas of constitutions across the world वो USA से ही लिए गए हैं. Now, preamble has been at the center of debate. There has been a lot of talk about the preamble even today. But before going into that, just look at how the original preamble looked like. It says, "We the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, democratic republic." Now, remember, this is the original preamble. इसीलिए यहाँ पे only these three adjectives are used: sovereign, democratic, and republic. Of course, there were two other adjectives added later on, that is socialist and secular, and that is something we will get on to later. But from this preamble itself, यहाँ से दो तीन बातें और आपको याद रखनी है. First, what is the date mentioned in the preamble? If you see, the date mentioned in the preamble says 26th day of November 1949. So it says at 26th November 1949. Means the day when the Constitution was complete, it was adopted. On 26th Jan, that is 2 months later, we enforce the Constitution, but the preamble contains the date as 26th of November. Second very interesting thing which people miss out on is very small signature here called Ram. Now, what is this signature about? This is of Ram Manohar Beora. Now, Beohar Ram Manohar Sinha was the person who was asked or requested to design the pages of the preamble and the entire constitution. If you actually see the original page of the preamble, it has such intricate designing on the borders, if you can see. All this designing on the border was done by Beohar Ram Manohar Sinha. In return, he did not ask for any money. He only said that I will write my grandfather's name, that is Ram, on every page of the original constitution. So that is how that signature has come about. Now, the preamble to the constitution is immensely important due to various reasons. It tells us what was the minds of the constitution makers like when they were making the constitution. तो वो क्या सोच के बना रहे थे? They said that India has to be a sovereign, it has to be a socialist, it has to be a republic. So पता चलता है कि अच्छा, this was their idea of India. The preamble talks about equality, the preamble talks about social equality, political justice. All these kind of things are written in the preamble जो बताता है कि what is it that the constitution makers had in their mind. So whenever someone has a doubt in interpreting the constitution, जब भी Supreme Court को constitution को interpret करना होता है, they look at the preamble because it is said that the preamble holds the key to the minds of the constitution makers, the people who made the Constitution of India. If you have to read their minds, you need to read the preamble. Even then, the status of the preamble has been at the center of debate for a very, very long time. What about it? The status of preamble means, is it a part of Constitution or is it not a part of the Constitution? It's a humongous debate that has been discussed multiple times. Now, what would change? क्या बदल जाएगा? Preamble का part नहीं है तो क्या हो जाएगा? अगर preamble constitution का part नहीं है, that would mean that preamble cannot be amended by the parliament. Because if this is the constitution, parliament can amend the constitution, right? So if preamble is a part of constitution, then preamble को भी बदल सकते हैं. If preamble is outside the constitution, then obviously preamble cannot be amended. Secondly, if preamble is a part of constitution, that would mean that preamble is justiciable. अगर preamble के against कुछ होता है, you can go to the court. Now the Supreme Court in two extremely important cases had tried to tell the answer to this question. First case आता है बेरूबरी केस 1960. यहाँ पे Supreme Court said preamble is not a part of constitution. जो preamble है वो constitution का part नहीं है. On the other hand, 13 long years later, in the Keshwananda Bharti case, Keshwananda Bharti just died very recently, unfortunately. In the Keshwananda Bharti case of 1973, Supreme Court overturned its earlier judgment and said no, preamble is indeed a part of constitution, means it can be amended, and that is how the preamble was amended once. Now if you look at the history of the preamble was introduced by Jawaharlal Nehru in the form of objectives resolution. Objective resolution was the first thing that the assembly did. So the Constituent Assembly had its first session on the 9th of December. They did all their formalities, they elected their president, vice president, and after that, the first thing that Jawaharlal Nehru did, he introduced something called objective resolution. It was a piece of paper that contained the objectives of the preamble. What is it that the preamble, or what is it that the Constituent Assembly wants to do? It said something like, we want to make India into this kind of a country or that kind of a country. That was the objective resolution. It was discussed immensely and it was passed. It was discussed so much in detail that it was only passed on 22nd Jan 1947. So it took over a month to discuss the objective resolution. And here we have a situation where the parliament does not even discuss our bills and they just pass it. So the objective resolution was discussed for more than a month, and after the constitution was complete, objective resolution was cut short, and in its short form it was now called the preamble. So if the question is what was the original name of the preamble, that will be objective resolution. Or the question is how was preamble originally introduced, that would again be the objectives resolution, which talked about the objectives of the Constituent Assembly. Remember, it was introduced by Jawaharlal Nehru in the Constituent Assembly on 13th of December 1946, just a few days after the Assembly had started to function. Now, the constituents of the preamble hold extreme importance. First, the preamble says, we the people of India, means the authority of the constitution comes from the people themselves. It's not from the British, it's not from some government. It is the people of India who have given to themselves this constitution. So if there is any doubt as to who is it that is the leader of the country, who is it that the master of the country is, it is the people of India, because it is the people of India who have given to themselves this amazing constitution. The preamble says that India has these 5 adjectives attached to it. India is a sovereign, India is a socialist, India is a secular, democratic and republic nation. It is extremely, extremely important that you understand each and every one of these terms for multiple papers, for GS2, GS4, essay paper, and just because you have the responsibility as an Indian citizen to know what the preamble actually contains.